Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Y'all, I have a very important topic to talk about today. It is about when you think you're prepared and you're not. And y'all, I gotta give myself, if I had to give myself a grade, what I'm gonna talk about in this video, I'm gonna give myself a C. I mean, barely passing. So today I'm talking about emergency preparation and storm prep. And I wanna tell you about what happened to us 2 weeks ago when we had really bad storms here. We thought we were prepared, but we were not 100% prepared. And so I wanna walk through this video and share with you the timeline of what happened over that weekend, the things that we were doing well with and the things that we absolutely were not prepared for, and lessons learned. So get you a cup of coffee, tea, drink, whatever you have. And I want you to really listen to this video. But as you're listening, I want you to take inventory of your own house. And if this happened to you, would you be prepared? Or would you be like us and have to give yourself a barely passing grade? So let's jump into this topic about emergency preparedness and storm prep. Okay, so before we sit down at the table, because I'm going to show you the things that we had that was a blessing that we had, and then some things that I'm like, okay, we got to go back to the drawing board, or we were not 100% prepared. But for those of you that are new, we live in Tennessee, and we are in middle Tennessee, so to speak. And we had storms that came through, and not just in Tennessee, for a lot of the south east, if I'm not mistaken. There were really bad storms about 2 weeks ago. There were tornadoes, I think in Mississippi, Texas, all across Kansas City, all across those areas. And we were also under a tornado watch. And this went on from like Friday night until Sunday morning is when we were under tornado watch. So the weather had been on 10 all week long, meaning the weatherman was saying, look, this is going to be one of the worst storms in history. So it did not catch us by surprise. We knew that the storm was coming. Okay. So one of the things that I want to emphasize is that if you are new here, I want you to go to my emergency preparedness playlist. I will pop it up here. And so let me give you the backstory. So several months ago, I started talking about emergency prep. And that's not something that I usually talk about on my channel, but I think it's part of being in my homestead journey. It's important to talk about. And that first video, 10,000 of you guys watched it. So there's plenty of eyes on it. I talked about emergency preparedness. And then after that, I talked about the absolute things that you need to have in your house. We went through what you should have in your go bag. These are all separate videos, right? And so kind of to bring you forward, since that time, I told you in the video that this was all brand new to me, that we did not have anything. We were zero prepared. But as I was going through these topics, I was buying stuff as money would allow. And I showed you guys what was in our go box or emergency prep kit. I showed you exactly what I had bought. I gave you the links to the list, and the link is in my Amazon store. So if you want to purchase anything that we've purchased, you can go straight over to Amazon, to our Amazon store, and it's all linked there for you. And so I was buying stuff over the last several months. Okay. And so you guys, so bringing you forward. So when it's time for this storm, I feel pretty good. I feel pretty good, right? Because I had some stuff. And the last time we had a storm, I had zero stuff. So on that Friday, and taking you through the timeline, on that Friday, it was supposed to hit like right around Friday night, early Saturday morning was the first wave. It was 2 waves of the storm. So on Friday, I told my husband to go get the go bag prep stuff. And it was all nice together in a box, right? So it was all right there together. I'm like, okay, we got our stuff. I went through it. I'm like, okay, yep, everything is here. So we set it kind of on the floor, like in one part of the kitchen or outside of the kitchen. So we knew, everybody knew where it was, okay? So on Friday night, early Sunday morning, I was up to like maybe 3 o'clock Saturday morning watching the news and the weather, because when I tell you the winds were so high, the winds were high. The house was shaking, right? Okay, and so we knew where the stuff was. So it's about 2 a.m. on Saturday morning, and they said, hey, it's supposed to hit your area around 4 or 5 a.m. That was the projected time. Okay, so I'm giving you the timeline. So this is the first, we are not prepared. Let me take a seat. So that was, let me tell you about the first So by this time, it's late, we're sleepy, we're tired, but the weather is doing its thing outside. So I'm not really wanting to go to sleep. I want to make sure that I know what's going on. So one of the first things leading up to that we were not prepared for is that we did not have good weather apps on our phone. I had like the weather.com app, but there are some other apps that were really precise and they actually gave you notifications. And so one of them was a local news station in our area that had an app, and they were consistently on it. Like you would get alerts that says, hey, lightning is detected 0.6 miles from your location. And like it was an extra layer of security. Now, it was no problem for me to download the app, but we didn't already have it. Okay, so it was that app, and there was another app that actually was weather.com, but I didn't know that it had all the features that you could put in. So on the weather.com app, you can actually go to the bottom and there is a radar section, and you can actually track the storm in your area. And you can track it by the hour, okay? So because we live in a rural area in Tennessee, there is not local news for our city. We have to watch Nashville and sometimes Huntsville, right? Because we're kind of in between. So that's one thing. If you're in a rural area and you don't have news in your city, you need to know what news stations are going to give you the best coverage for the area that you're in. That's number one. Number two, make sure that you have the weather apps on your phone local to your area, and then also know how to use your apps. Like on the weather.com, I never go to that app because it just, I just see the weather on my phone, and I'm always just looking for the highs and the lows. But when it came to the weather and tracking my specific location, that came in very handy because it was my city. Okay, so that was number one, but no worries, easy fix. We got the apps. About 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, my husband's like, I'm tired, I'm sleeping. I'm like, I'm nervous. He was like, I'm about to go to bed. And I'm like, but I need to know what is going on, because one of my worst fears was we would be asleep and a tornado would come through. Okay, so part of our preparation list, we have a battery powered weather radio. That was one of the things that I bought. It's in our go bag. We good, right? So we go and get the weather radio. This was earlier than 2 o'clock in the morning. This was on earlier, Friday night. We get the weather radio, and one of the other uh-ohs was because we had not used it. It was new. It was in the box. It came in from Amazon, and I put it in our stash. Great. I have it on site. But I had never used a weather radio. I mean, shame on me. I had no reason to use one. And I did not know that you have to tune into the specific channel for your area. So you have to tune into the specific channel for your area. It doesn't tell you what the specific channel is. So we had to Google and find out, okay, how to use the weather radio and what frequency or what channel we needed to be on, okay? That took a few minutes. Now, again, did we get it? We did. But if it was a crisis and we needed to move a little bit quicker, we spent about 10 or 15 minutes trying to find the frequency and get it on the right frequency and all that. We actually had 2 weather radios. So my son was able to have one in his room, and we had one like in the general family area. And they were, on frequencies and all that. But because we hadn't used it before, it was a little bit of I'm not gonna say a learning curve, but just, figuring out how does it work. So it was telling us every little thing. And so we weren't comfortable that we actually had the notifications and the alerts on. So my husband was working on all that. Okay, so we got that part done, but I was still unsure because we were just getting a whole bunch of it's raining, it's raining. And it was constant. So it's it's really hard to sleep with that constant thing. In my mind, the weather radio is not necessarily silent, but you can kill that background noise, and then it will alert, scream, notify, glare up when there is a crisis or hey, let's take cover. If it does that, we never figured it out, okay? So that's one thing, is we didn't know our equipment because we hadn't used it. So there was a little bit of a hiccup there. So fast forward, we go to sleep. The first wave of the storm, we did not get anything. It was just a lot of heavy wind and a lot of rain. So we were able to sleep, off and on, but nothing ever happened from a tornado standpoint. Okay, so now it's Saturday morning, right? And we are at home. Everything, church is closed, everything is closed in our area. It is, it's like nobody's moving, right? Because the weather is dark outside in the middle of the day. And when I say the wind was just so fierce. So the next wave was supposed to hit our area on Saturday afternoon around 4 p.m. in terms of the tornado. Okay, so by Saturday morning, we are like, okay, weather radio, we got that last night. Okay, great. At this point, we have a family safety meeting. Now, we should have did this on Friday, but we didn't. Because at this point, I want to make sure that everybody in the family who is here, okay, what is our plan of attack and action, okay? So where are we going to go if the tornado is coming? And so you guys know that we have a root cellar. So that is going to be our safest place. It has a storm shelter door. I think it's rated to like a EF 4 or 5, I don't know, some one of those. But anyway, that would be the safest place to go. But if we're not able to get there, because we actually have to go out of the house and get there, it's like, right back there somewhere. You guys have seen it before. We knew that's the place to go if we have time. If we don't have time, then we talked about the place in the house where we would all go gather and huddle, which is actually one of our interior closets. But that closet is full, so we were like, okay, we need to get everything out so that if we have to go in, all of us can fit in there and be secure, and we're not trying to get stuff out at the same time, because in a tornado, minutes matter. So we talked about our safety plan. We talked about keep your phone charged up, okay? Because, I have a teenager at the house, and if your teenager anything like mine, they be on the phone and will just run it in the ground and won't put it on the charger. And then it's like, oh, I got 5%. So I told everybody, keep your phones charged, know where your charger is. Then we pulled out the flashlights. Now at this time, it's in the middle of the day and it's not supposed to hit to 4 o'clock, which is still gonna be day. But I'm like, let's just have the flashlights just in case. And I was making sure that everybody knew where the go bag stuff was. Because you know me, I had bought it, I had put it up, and I knew exactly what we had, but nobody else in the family knew what we had, okay? So we had the safety meeting. So everybody was on one accord, okay? Next hiccup, or before I get to the next hiccup, let me show you the flashlights that we ordered were actually great. They are run by solar and by battery, and it was one other thing. Oh, you can charge them up. So I didn't even know I had bought something that great. It was really, really great. And you could see, the light on it was like really, really good. Good light. Okay. And we had two of these. Yeah, two of these. So I'm going to go back and get more so that everybody in the family can have one. So that way you can kind of just have it and we're not dependent on just 1 or 2 people to have the flashlights. So the flashlight was a great buy. That came in handy. They all worked perfectly. Okay. So now it's 4 or 5 o'clock and the wind starts to pick up. The rain starts to pick up. And so at this point, we're under a tornado watch, not a warning. And so in case if you don't live in tornado valley areas, basically the tornado watch is saying that your conditions are favorable for a tornado. A tornado warning is, we've spotted a tornado, it's in your area. Like a warning is more serious than a watch. We were under a watch at this point, right? And so that lasted for like a couple of hours. Long story short, no tornado hit in our area or close by. So I'm very thankful for that, okay? So around about Saturday night, around 7 or 8 p.m., they called the all clear in our area. They said, your area is clear, no issues, you're good to go. Okay, so that's Saturday night at 7 or 8 o'clock. So at this point, we're like, thank you, Jesus. That is great. No worries. I go in the kitchen. I am cleaning up the kitchen. And that's another thing. We had food, no issues. We were good on food. So I'm cleaning up the kitchen, and then I'm about to make bread because I usually make bread on Saturday night. That's usually what I do for the week. So I'm about to make bread. I got my mix. I got all of my ingredients in there. It's Saturday night. About this time, it's about 8:30, 9 o'clock. My husband has left to go check the mail because you know you live in the country. Your mailbox is not right outside your front door. You got to go check the mail. It's at the end of our driveway, which is about a mile. So my husband is gone. My son is in his room. I'm in the kitchen, and I'm about to make bread. As soon as I go to plug in my mixer, the power goes out. Now keep in mind, we have gotten the all clear. The wind has been fierce for the last 24 hours. We have had tons of rain over the last 24 hours, but we never lost power, and we thought at this point, we're good to go. And as a matter of fact, y'all, as I was getting ready to do bread, I had all of the emergency stuff kind of stacked on the table, and I was putting stuff in the box and kind of just gathering stuff to put it all back together, to put it back where it belonged. That's what I was doing. And I was also in the middle of making bread. That's on Saturday night at 9 o'clock. We lost power. And I was like, uh-oh. And so remember, at this point, it's nighttime. So now it is pitch black in the house. And guess whose phone ain't charged? Your girl. Now, I had about 30 or 40%, but because I'm thinking we're good. Okay, so I had been gathering stuff to put back where it belonged when it came to the emergency go back stuff. I'm making bread. I go to plug in the mixer and the power goes out. And I'm like, I got 40%. Remember, my husband is gone. My son is in his room and I'm in the kitchen. It is pitch black because it's already dark outside. And as a matter of fact, I didn't even have my phone like by me. It was like in my office or something. Yeah, I remember that. So I couldn't even grab my phone to turn on a flashlight so I could see. So I'm in the pitch black dark in the kitchen. I called to my son. I was like, hey, come in the kitchen and give me some light so I can find my phone. So he comes in the kitchen and gives me light so we can find my phone. And I said, okay, how much juice your phone got? He was like, oh, like 50%. I'm like, didn't I tell you to? And I'm like, first of all, sis, you ain't even got your phone charged. But I'm the mama, you the son. Why your phone ain't charged? Okay, I digress. So we both like 40, 50% on our phone. The power is out. And so at the same time, right about this time, my husband calls. And he said, did y'all lose power? And I was like, yeah. He said, okay, it's pitch black here. And he was like, we have a huge problem. And I'm like, oh, what do you mean? He was like, the driveway is completely washed out. And I was like, I mean, what do you mean? Like, I don't even understand what you're talking about. He was like, the driveway is washed out. He was like, Barbara, it's impassable. And I'm like, is he being dramatic? Is he being dramatic? I was like, because my mind can't even wrap around. I was like, okay, I know we had a lot of rain. And so let me pause here and let me show you some footage as best I can as to what things looked like right about that time. Now, remember, it was dark. So the first footage we got is not very clear. So I took some footage days later because, y'all, the driveway did not get fixed for 5 days. So for 5 days, our driveway was impassable. We could not leave. Now, I say that saying we couldn't leave. My husband, because he has a truck, he was able to ride out. But my car or anybody else could not leave the property because it was that entrenched. Let me pause here and show you some footage. So this is us this Saturday night. I wanted to see what the driveway looked like. So we're in the car and we're at the point where we cannot pass through the drive-through. So basically what happened, there's a culvert that runs along this, up under the driveway, and the culvert got broken or clogged. So all of the rocks that came off the mountain is literally stuck in this culvert. And though you can just see the water gushing down, it has literally rained out the driveway. And then it is full of rocks. You can't really see it on the pictures, but for us to go past this point, it is like climbing over like 6 feet of rocks. This is a picture in the daytime. And again, the pictures don't even do it justice, but this is the same driveway that I just showed you. You can see where our tire marks are. All of this is covered with rocks, and it doesn't look thick, but literally to go over it, it is like climbing a mountain. Like you're like up in the air almost, just to go over this area You can see this is where I came down and my car just would not even go over it. It is completely clogged and just a buildup of rocks all in this one spot. So 4 days later, we finally was able to get somebody out here to fix it. It was more than what my husband can do. Plus, we didn't have a tractor to even move the rocks out of the way. You can see how this particular area is leading up to the driveway in the light. Okay, guys, so this is part of our property. You can see it's mountains up here. So the water comes down from the mountain and it comes and drains into this. It's called a culvert.
It's just a ditch.
A ditch.
Yeah.
But there's a culvert where the water passes through.
Passes through under the driveway.
Under the driveway. And so the rocks come down from the mountain too, and they're supposed to pass through the culvert. But the culvert got clogged or broken. Got clogged, my husband says. And so all of the rocks got stuck in the culvert, which caused it to pretty much wash out the driveway. So you can see the ditch and you can see all of these rocks in here. Just, they're here 4 days later trying to clear out the driveway so that we can pass through. So literally, my house is way, way, way back there. We were able to drive to a certain point and then he literally just took his truck and drove up the mountain, and we got to this point and my car is parked all the way down there over that mountain, and I'll just walk the rest of the way to my car. So that's pretty much the only way to get out. But I'm glad that they're here today to actually fix it. So hopefully that gives you some perspective. We were not prepared for that at all. And again, it was so strange that how the power went out after the storm. We got the all clear, right? So by this time, like, it's Saturday night, there's no power whatsoever. My bread is just like, I got all the ingredients in there and it's just sitting there, like, can't do anything, right? And so then we're like, okay, we need some light, because at this point it's pitch black dark throughout the whole house. And we have our flashlights, and so we go outside, and so my husband tries to get the generator going, and so me and my son are shedding light with the flashlight so he can actually see what he's doing to get the generator going. Then I'm like, we got a lantern, we got some more light, don't worry about it. So I go pull out my handy lantern from the go bag, because we didn't have to use it before because we didn't have loss of power. So I go, and this, I'm like, this is gonna give us some good light. Number two. This takes C batteries. We don't have no C batteries in the house, y'all. So I pulled this out the box. It's brand new. I'm like, oh, this is great. But we couldn't use it because we didn't have any C batteries. I didn't think about that, because y'all, I'm just buying the stuff. I'm feeling good about myself. I'm buying this stuff. We got it coming in. I'm putting it, I'm staging it where it's supposed to go. We got the stuff. But y'all, we were not 100% prepared. And so I want you to, just before I go any further, I want you to think right now, do you have stuff? Can you use your stuff? Do you have the appropriate size batteries for all of your stuff? So what I want you to do this weekend, or whenever you see this video, in the next 2 to 3 days, I want you to make time to go through the items in your go bag, especially if you've never had to use your go bag. Make sure that you have batteries for everything you need. Make sure you know how to operate everything that you have. Turn it on, turn on the lights. Make sure it works, and make sure that you know how to work it. It's not enough just to have the stuff, because again, in times of crisis, especially when minutes or seconds matter, you're gonna need to know how to operate your stuff. You're gonna need to have everything you need in order to get it to work, okay? So fast forward, my husband gets the generator going. Now, the generator is able to provide us some light in the house. So we had lights in a part of the house, not the whole house, because one of the things with the generator is that we need some type of electrical plug. It get real technical. Y'all know I don't do technical. But anyway, somehow we need a better system to run the generator. because right now we can only run it by using extension cords. And so we have to get an electrician to come out here and run something so that it's on a panel, and that way we can kind of control the output of power and control what we have. Y'all probably understand, okay? Now here's the point, that we knew that the last time we had to use the generator. That's one of the things that had fallen off the list, off the wayside, because once we got power, we never thought about calling the electrician back out here to run the plug and do whatever we needed to do. Okay, so again, we did have a generator. We were able to have light. Now, our lights were off for about 7 or 8 hours. So not terribly bad. And remember, it's at nighttime. So we eventually go to bed, and then when we wake up the next morning, the lights are coming back on. So it wasn't that bad because of the time of the day, the circumstance and all that. But had we been without power longer, then it would have become an issue, okay? It would have been, so I didn't have to cook without power because it's at night. No worries, okay? So now it's Sunday. Everybody got the all clear. Everybody got the all clear in all surrounding counties. And, there's a little bit of a light rain, but for the most part, the wind has died down, the rain has died down. And so for us, we have power, we have food, we got our little supplies. But for us, we can't leave the house because our driveway is impassable, okay? The other thing that happened is we have a building, a ministry building on our property. You guys, if you don't know, my husband's in full-time ministry. And so we actually have a 10,000 square foot ministry building on our property. And that's where my husband does his ministry stuff. We do classes, workshops. He has a ministry TV channel that's run 24/7. So all of that is housed down there. So when we went to go try to get to the building, right? Now keep in mind, my husband has a truck, so that was a blessing. If you live in the country, somebody needs to have a truck in case your driveway is impassable, right? For my car to get over it, it would have just tore up the underside of my car for me in order to get over it. But because my husband had a truck, he was able to weather it, okay? So we go down to the building, and the building has flooded because we got so much rain and water. Literally, we had water coming out of the mountain, out of the spring, pushing, raging up against the building, and it was just seeping through. Okay, so now we got that to deal with. Okay, so that's on Sunday. My husband tries to go down there and get up as much water as possible. He and my son, they're putting air movers out. They're doing all the things. But the house is fine. We have power. Everything is all clear. No worries. We rock on the rest of Sunday, and it's like back to normal. Then, Sunday night, we lost water. Now, come on. Y'all. The storm, what's the song? The storm is passing over. Hallelujah. The storm is gone. The storm is gone. It is Sunday night. And it's like 10 o'clock at night. My son is washing dishes. And he comes and knocks on the door. And he's like, is somebody taking a shower? He said, the water pressure just got real low. And I was like, no, And so my husband goes out there to check. He's like, man, this water pressure is real low. We start checking all the faucets. The water is gone. Water out. Fast forward. Basically, we did not have water. Something happened with one of the main lines or whatever, because we called the company. It's like, yep, we know you're out. Half of y'all are out. We're working on it. We're going to try to get it going as soon as possible. Okay? So the water was out. We were not prepared for the no water. Now, the only thing that we did have is that we have two 5-gallon size buckets full of water, ready to go. That is great in a pinch and an emergency. Now, the water stayed out for, let's see, another 7 or 8 hours. So we ended up going to bed. We did not have water. When I woke up the next morning, the water was on. Okay, so we were out again that overnight. So all in all, it was a blessing because it was nighttime and it was only like 7 or 8 hours. It wasn't the middle of the day. I didn't have to use water to cook, wash hands, anything like that. It was already almost bedtime. But this storm again taught me something. I tell y'all, being prepared is like insurance. Insurance, you don't want to pay that monthly, quarterly premium for insurance, but when something happens, you're going to be glad that you had it. You're going to be glad you paid your premium because now you can cash in. And so it's the same thing with this emergency prep. I had taken the first initial steps and I got some stuff, but I had not gone all the way. So if I had to give us a grade, I'm going to give us a C. I'm going to give us a C. Now you tell me what you would give us, because I feel like we did have some stuff, right? And we were way more prepared than we were a year ago when we didn't have water. Now we didn't have water for 10 days a year ago and we were messed up. And then there have been other times we didn't have power, that we didn't even have flashlight, didn't know where they were. So we had more stuff that we could use that we actually did use. But we certainly don't get an A. And so my point of coming on, sharing this video is, one, if you are starting from ground zero and you have nothing, and you may say, man, I don't live in a tornado area. I don't care where you live. Something can happen when it comes to the weather. The weather is crazy. It's bipolar. You could have a hurricane. You ain't supposed to have one. I think Mississippi had a tornado and an earthquake all in the same city. Mississippi don't get earthquakes. So don't try to count on, well, I live in an area that's such and such and such and such. Get your emergency prep stuff together. Get your go bag together. Okay, number one. So if you're starting off out the gates and you're like, this is my first time hearing it, or Barbara, I heard you. Now I want to know, the people who saw my video, because it was 10,000 of y'all, who saw the video several months ago, did you do anything after that video? Or you're like, man, I have not done anything. I saw that video. I meant to do something, but I didn't. If that's you, stop right now. Stop right now. Make yourself a note to get it done. Y'all, I say it with the most urgency, because I'm telling you, when things are peaceful, when you have lights, when you have water, when you have food, it feels like, okay. But I'm telling you, as soon as that power drop, as soon as that water drop, you're like, oh, you start thinking, okay, what have I done? What do I have? Your mind immediately goes to, man, I should have done that. I'm telling you what I know. And I'm thankful to the Lord that he keeps giving me a chance, right? You can take it however you want to. I'm thankful that he keeps giving me a chance to get it together. And this showed me the areas where we are exposed and where we need to do better. So if you're starting from ground zero, get you some stuff. Number two, if you already have stuff, make sure your stuff works. Make sure you got batteries, all the things, okay? Let this video be a reminder to you. Let it be an encouragement to you. I just wanted to come on and share with you what we went through over the last 2 weeks. I'm gonna be honest, palms up. C minus. What y'all think? Now don't be telling me we got an F, because we didn't fail. Don't nobody be putting in the comments you got an F, okay? I don't receive that. I think we got a C. What y'all think? Anyway, y'all, I try to keep it light, but I'm very serious. I'm very, very serious. Are you prepared? Food, shelter, water, emergency power, like all the things. Start where you can and keep building. Do not let the momentum go. I hope this video finds you in a good state of mind and encourages you and motivates you to do more than what you've been doing. It encourages you to take inventory of what you have and where you are and where you need to improve. If you were in this situation, what grade would you give yourself? Let's all try to be top of the class, okay? Y'all, thank you so much for rocking with me. Thank you for watching my video. If you would like to see more of this content, plus gardening, homesteading, DIY, cooking from scratch, all the things, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. Remember, y'all, this is all a journey. Let's do it together. I'll see you next time, friend. Bye for now.